The arena in Berlin swelled with a thunderous anticipation, the kind that fills the lungs before a storm breaks, as two cruiserweight forces prepared to collide under the burning lights of the World Boxing Super Series. The camera swept across a sea of flags, Ukrainian yellow and blue on one side, German black, red, gold on the other, while the crowd vibrated with equal parts pride and danger. Marco Huck, the veteran warhorse of Berlin, stood in the red corner, draped in black and gold, a fighter forged in countless battles, a man who lived and bled for these fans, who now roared his name with fierce devotion. Across the ring, calm and icy as a winter gust from Kiev, stood Oleksandr Usyk, white trunks, silver trim, gold medal pedigree, and a reputation spreading like wildfire through the boxing world. 12 wins, 10 knockouts, and a style so fluid it bordered on artistic defiance. As the announcer's voice thundered through the arena, the contrast crystallized, raw grit against surgical brilliance. Old lion versus the new king in waiting. When the referee gave the final instructions, their stare-down felt like a clash of destinies. Huck unblinking, defiant, refusing to yield an inch, while Usyk stood poised, expression unreadable, as if studying a puzzle he already knew he would solve. And as the bell rang, the electricity in the air snapped into violence. Usyk emerged like a phantom of perpetual motion, sliding around the ring with a slickness that made the ropes blur behind him. Huck, determined not to be bullied in his own backyard, stormed forward with a trademark grit, winging right hands, attempting to dig into Usyk's ribs with heavy leather. But the Ukrainian absorbed the data instantly, reading, evaluating, dismantling. A hard left to Huck's body cracked across the microphones, followed by a jab so stiff it snapped Huck's head back. Each time the German champion tried to trap Usyk, the younger man pivoted with ghost-like subtlety, turning defense into instant offense. Midway through the opening rounds, Usyk's confidence became visible. He flowed in 2- and 3-phase attacks, doubling his jab, stepping into angles Huck couldn't anticipate. The crowd sensed a shift, murmurs rising as Huck's feet hit the ropes again and again. Yet, the Berlin warrior fought like a man with his pride on the altar. He threw back bravely, right hands over the top, hooks inside, desperate clinches, but Usyk punctured every moment of success with sharp, punishing answers. Early, the pattern was set. Huck lunging forward with force, Usyk catching him, turning him, peeling him apart with surgical precision. By the time the opening rounds closed, Usyk's rhythm had taken full command of the ring, even as Huck kept clawing at the moment with stubborn fire. In the middle rounds, the tension thickened as the fight stepped into a deeper, darker rhythm. Huck, sensing the tide creeping against him, dug into the reservoir of his championship heart, pushing forward with more urgency. He tried roughhousing, leaning, mauling, anything to disrupt the perfect timing of the Ukrainian maestro. At times, his aggression sparked reactions from the crowd, especially when he caught Usyk with a stiff counter or a sneaky right hook. But Usyk's response was chilling in its calm brutality. Rather than retreat, he pressed harder, stepping closer, throwing combinations with an effortless whip of the hips and shoulders. His jab became a spear, his left hand a homing missile, his footwork a map Huck could not read. A stunning left uppercut sliced through Huck's guard, followed by a hook right-left sequence that had the Germans stumbling backward. The arena gasped. Usyk didn't let him breathe. He expanded the ring when he wanted space, compressed it when he wanted damage. Huck, visibly wearing the pace, began blinking more frequently, his breathing heavier, his legs responding slower to the Ukrainian's angles. And still, he fought. Still, he answered. Every small victory earned an explosion of cheers, but every moment of hope was immediately drowned by Usyk's precise punishment. The gulf in conditioning, timing, and sharpness grew with each passing exchange, even as Huck waged war with stubborn, admirable defiance. By the 7th and 8th rounds, the fight transformed from a contest into a systematic dismantling. Usyk stalked forward with the cold patience of a surgeon preparing for the incision. Huck, though proud and relentless, now looked trapped in a storm he could no longer outrun. Every exchange favored the Ukrainian. Usyk's left hands pierced Huck's guard with increasing frequency, snapping the veteran's head backward. His right hooks curled around the gloves, thudding against Huck's jaw. His body shots dug like shovels into ribs that had absorbed too many rounds of punishment. At times, Huck would explode off the ropes with a burst of fury, throwing 3, 4, 5 shots, but Usyk rolled, dipped, and fired back with combinations that drew visible wobbles in Huck's legs. The Ukrainian's stamina seemed supernatural. He barely appeared to breathe. Huck's face, by contrast, grew more marked with each exchange, his guard looser, his reactions slower. The crowd sensed the inevitable horizon forming. Still, they roared for their champion each time he swung, each moment a refusal to quit, a refusal to let the night end quietly. But Usyk pressed forward, pushing Huck across the ring, hammering him with straight lefts through the middle and hooks around the corner. It was the look of a fighter imposing inevitability. The 9th round was the breaking point. Huck came out trying to meet the moment with pride, forcing exchanges, digging to the body, and attempting looping rights over the top. But Usyk's punches had turned heavier, more violent, more purposeful. A series of sharp left hands cracked Huck's head back, 1, 2, 3 in succession, and the German stumbled into the ropes. Usyk swarmed. He closed the distance with a predator's instinct, unleashing a barrage of punches that poured down on Huck's guard, ripping through openings, forcing his head one direction then the other. Huck tried to fire back, but his legs betrayed him, sluggish, unresponsive. He was pinned in survival mode, trapped at the mercy of Usyk's storm. The crowd screamed as Usyk tore into him, combinations flying like rapid-fire artillery. Huck sagged. His hands dropped. His responses slowed. A veteran could absorb only so much, and pride alone could not carry him through the avalanche Usyk was unleashing. The end loomed like a shadow, and so, in the 10th round, the curtain fell. Usyk marched forward with the same icy intensity, stalking Huck into a neutral corner. The German veteran tried to brace, tried to offer one last stand for his fans, but his punches had lost their bite, and his guard had lost its strength. Usyk unleashed a furious combination, left hand, right hook, left to the body, another left upstairs, and Huck folded into the ropes once more, battered, overwhelmed, outgunned. The referee jumped in, waving it off, saving the proud former champion from further punishment. The arena erupted, some in heartbreak, many in awe. And in the center of it all, Oleksandr Usyk raised his arms high, draped in the Ukrainian flag, a picture of dominance and destiny. The undefeated champion, the master technician, the storm no one could outrun, had retained his crown with a performance that bordered on perfection. Marco Huck, brave until the final second, had given everything. But on this night, in this ring, against this version of Usyk, it simply wasn't enough. The World Boxing Super Series had found its terrifying frontrunner, and the cruiserweight division had felt the unmistakable tremor of a new era.